Welcome, Solara here. I hope you guys are doing well today. It's been it's been an intense window of energy that we've been experiencing. Um, I want to say in the past week or so, things have really picked up in intensity. It's 23:44 on my clock as I begin this. I first want to welcome all of you who are visiting for the first time. If you are vibing with my energy and the messages I have to receive, I invite you to subscribe and even hit on the notification bell so you know when I post. To those of you who are returning and have been here for a minute, welcome, welcome, welcome. I love you guys. Thank you for all the ways that you sow into me, into the channel with your words and into one another with your words, your encouragement. Thank you to the beautiful soul who sent me the unicorn deck. I did receive it over the weekend. It's really funny because I was picking up on a lot of unicorn energy last week, and my guides were actually showing me that that Gaia was reaching an energy where that unicorn energy can flow more easily. The unicorn energy requires higher frequencies and an expanded consciousness in order for it to thrive. And so, although it's been on the planet, it's one of those things that haven't been able to be sustained. So many things that are of our divine truth, although we may taste or know of it, it hasn't been in an energy where it could be sustained because of the programs of the matrix. But we have reached once again a higher level of ascension where the unicorns might begin to start reaching out to a lot more people to work with, also to aid and assist us on this journey. So it was just so fitting and confirmation to receive that deck. So I thank you so much. Thank you to those of you who've made donations. I appreciate that. Thank you to those of you who book me for services. Thank you for everything. Thank you, thank you, thank you. With that out of the way, I am going to do some downloads. And I want to talk to you guys tonight because the energy has been really heavy. It's been really heavy and it's been really light at the same time. But the way a lot of us have been experiencing it is we've been experiencing the higher density or the heavier energies. It's probably why you're here. So whenever we've been having really crazy solar weather last week to assist what was happening on the planet with the equinox and also with that new moon in Aries, that Alpha Omega portal that opened when the sun and the moon moved into Aries at the 0-degree point. And as such, it kicked off a great deal of solar energy, solar flare energy, I believe, or CMEs. Either way, I don't know exactly what it was that occurred last week, but I know the solar weather was pretty much off the charts. And there's a reason for that. As the sun hits the earth, hits the planet, as all of this solar activity hits us on earth, what it's doing is it is dismantling the heaviest of energies. It is dismantling the root of energies. And this is what many of us are dealing with, and what many of us are, in fact, we don't even realize it when we're going through some of this stuff, but we are transmuting it. We are Gaia, and Gaia is us. And as the sun helps Gaia to shift these energies that have kept her enslaved and trapped in a lower dimensional reality that therefore had us trapped in that reality too. As the sun assist Gaia in getting free, we are the conduits also for this energy. And what that means is that a lot of the shadow energies that we haven't dealt with, whenever we have this intense solar energy, is going to come up. So, even those of you who have been doing the shadow work for years, you might have felt this one, because this is really about the root energies now. It's about getting to the root of how these energies were laid in the first place. And some of you Even if you, up until now, you haven't really felt, these shifts because of all of the healing work you've done, you might be feeling them now. And some of you, it's also because you energetically hold the codes that assist in the clearing of these deeper energies. Okay, so I want to talk to you about some of the stuff that's happening. As always, there's a lot of fuckery that's occurring, because as much as we have made a lot of progress, on ascension, in the sense that it's happening, it's inevitable, everything that's thrown at us at this point is designed to delay us and to take us off course, so that we therefore cause delays in our own ascension, that then adds to the collective energies of delay. It doesn't mean that these energies are not going without a fight. Now, I said to you before that with the intensity of the solar weather, it really aggravated the root energies upon which the matrix system was laid. Okay? And the matrix was a system that was energetically made in the inverse of divine truth. And in order to do that, and I don't claim to know the entire construction of the matrix, I can share with you what I know and what it is that my guides have shown me. So always feel free to, to add your own insight. We're all here to learn, right? The matrix was based upon the inverse of divine order. And as such, it needed to mess with the original grids of Earth in order to get a control of that. And there were many methods energetically that were used in order to keep those grids in a lock, to keep them in a gridlock, right? One of the methods was utilizing the power of major lower entities that they therefore had to feed. This is where we got the sacrifice system of the matrix from. They would feed these grids in order to satisfy the entities that were allowing them to keep these energies alive. And they would also open dark portals, utilizing the power of these energies also. And they would do that again through ritual sacrifice, through blood offerings, through all manner of really low vibrational energies. They had to harvest pain in order to keep their pain constructs alive. And as such, when you came into this matrix reality, you were required to take on what we call an identity. Or if you break it down, it's an ID entity. An ID entity. You call it an ID or an identification. You agreed. Your parents agreed. We all agreed. Even before we incarnated into the corporeal existence that we have now, we also agreed to certain contracts just to be able to get in here as divine beings, some of us. Okay? But either way, everyone who enters the matrix must take on an identity, an ID entity. Those identities are forged by the energies of the planet that were circulated by way of their systems and their institutions, including what it was that they taught us was family. So in other words, at every turn, you were being programmed by entities. We were all being programmed by matrix entities. And we took on those ID entities, and we took on a false persona in order to thrive in the matrix. Because here's the thing, because the matrix is a false construct appearing real, it does not support realness. It does not support authenticity. So the matrix required for us to take on ID entities. Now, I break down letters numerologically. I believe it's called gematria. And my guides had me break down the ID and then the entities separately. And I, in the alphabet, holds the frequency of the number 9. And D is the number 4. And so for me, then I take it to the tarot. And the 9 in the tarot is the Hermit energy. And the 4 in the tarot is the Aries energy of the Emperor. Now, the Aries energy of the Emperor is very much to do with your own ability to be sovereign over self. But the Hermit energy is there to liberate you. But how my guides were showing it to me, they were helping me to like understand the purpose of like this word and what its energies ultimately did, is that an identity, an ID entity, is designed to break you away. So liberation is to break one free, but it can also be the inverse, is still breaking away from something. The whole point of the Matrix was to break us away from our divine truth and to keep us in states where we therefore couldn't access it. And to that extent, we took on different ID entities in order to just survive. And when we didn't do that, then we were castigated, or we were not able to thrive, let alone, we were not able to survive, let alone thrive, right? So right now, what's happening is because a lot of the root energies of all of those constructs are being disturbed, what it's doing is it's rocking all of the entities that those contracts, that we made contracts with. And when I say we made contracts with it, I'm not saying you had to sit down and sign something. You contract with an energy when you allow it into your fields and you allow it to command who you are. So you make contracts with an energy when you allow it into your own fields, consciously or unconsciously, and you therefore allow it to command who you are. Let's say it one more time. You make contracts with an energy when you allow that energy into your fields, whether you do that consciously or unconsciously, and it can therefore command who you are. It's like you're abandoning ship and you're letting somebody else be the captain of your destiny. And so the Aries energy, we're in Aries season obviously, but this is also connected to the Emperor energy in the tarot. The Aries energy is all about, in astrology, it's connected to your first house, and it's all about your I am truth. So who you came here to be divinely is your I am truth. Your I am truth, as far as I have been shown, and you might not agree, and I'd love to hear other people's opinions and feedback on this stuff too, but your I am truth in this lifetime does not have to correlate with your I am truth of every lifetime. In other words, you are, if you are like connecting with me and my energy, you likely are a being who's chosen the ascension path back to your divine truth. I lost what I was going to say now. Hopefully it will come back. But the point of what I was trying to say, I forgot the analogy I was about to use, but the point of what I'm trying to say is that your I am truth across time, space, reality, and incarnations may represent itself in different ways, and it doesn't take away from the core of who you are divinely. I hope that you follow me when I say that. In other words, because I want to be very clear as a bell in what it is that they're showing me. In other words, your mission, every time you've entered the planet, has been different, and as such, you've been given the tools to be able to carry it out well. You were given the tools. This is what the Magician energy is in the tarot, the number 1 card. The Fool is leaping off the cliff. It's coming into here. It's Aries and Aquarius energy. It's Uranus energy. It's daring to come here, knowing that this is one of the densest places to come and try to ascend from, because the Matrix is a game. But your I am truth is connected to the mission you came to fulfill here, and therefore the strengths and the skill set and the gifts and the talent and the resources you bring with yourself, because you are that you are, because I am. Okay? Right now, in Aries season, 1 week almost into, after following the new moon, and 1 week away from the full moon in Libra, I think, and a few weeks away from another new moon in Aries, we are facing some of the greatest attacks against our I am truth that we may have ever faced. But here's the thing. You've never gotten as far in recovering and reclaiming that divine power and truth until now. So you always were more than equipped to fight this energy. But here's the thing. A big part of this battle is all about your own faith and your own belief in who you are. You see, you will only take on an I0000 on my clock. You will only take on an ID entity that the matrix gives you, or a false persona, if you are still not sure of who you are. So right now, the way to fight all of the attacks that are coming your way is to be really certain and grounded in the truth of who you are. So that when something comes to make a contract with you that feels familiar, like self-doubt or anxiety, when those things come into your fields to try to sign you up to another cycle with them, you say, oh, no, no, no. What I've been saying is bibbity bobbity, get the fuck away from me. Bibbity bobbity, fuck off. Because I make a joke out of it now, because I got to keep my vibration light. I've got to tune into my higher frequency. The only way to do that is to like embody who you are divinely. And so, it's kind of like when you see dogs fighting, and the really tiny, breeds of dogs that they can be really feisty, and they'll come and they'll challenge the huge dog that can take them out by just swiping them with their paw, right? But they'll still come and they'll bark, and their owner has to hold on to them because they're ready to fight, right? But most of the time, the big dog doesn't flinch, because the big dog knows who it is. The big dog knows it's more powerful. The big dog also is probably more careful with its power and its strength, because it knows it can destroy that little dog, no matter how much that little dog might be barking in its face. A lot of the time, the big dog, it might bark, but a lot of the time when you see those exchanges, the big dog ain't even bothered by the little dog. And this is how you have to be. This is how I have to be. This is how we have to be as these energies come into our fields to try to get us to take on another false ID entity of the matrix system, to cause us to live below the truth of our divine value and power, and to therefore not be in alignment with our I am truth. And to therefore give away our crown, give away our power. So everything that's coming at you right now is here to question your belief in your divine status. And it's going to be like this. I really do feel this energy is going to be like this up until the 20th of April, 420, is the next new moon in Aries. And it's a hybrid eclipse. And when I was doing some research on that, because I wrote a little bit about it in the Weekend Alchemy message, when I did some research on what a hybrid eclipse is, I learned that there are 3 types of eclipses that can occur, solar eclipses, I should say. And it's a total eclipse, a partial eclipse, and what they call an annular eclipse. So I think the total and the partial are, they're self-explanatory. The annular is when the moon is appearing to be in the center of the sun, and it creates a ring of fire. It's like a donut energy. I think we had one, we had one in 2021, an annular eclipse. Now, a hybrid eclipse is when all 3 of those energies occur in one. It's a grand eclipse event, and it's happening at the 29-degree point of Aries, which, not for nothing, is also a Leo degree. So it's very much connected to your ability to live your divine value here on Earth. So In this window between these two new moons, at every turn, you will be challenged. I will be challenged. We will be challenged to hold on to our crowns, to not be manipulated or taken off our thrones or fall into states of believing things that aren't true about ourselves, things that don't align with the truth of who we are divinely. So what my guides have been saying to me, they've been bringing this to me since Thursday. We are not here, you are not here to entertain energies that are contrary to your divine truth. You are not here to entertain, to allow energies to enter into your field and hold you. That's really what entertain means. It's enter into in order to detain, enter into you in order to stop you from going where you need to be divinely. You are not here to entertain energies that are contrary to your divine truth. You are not here to entertain energies that are contrary to your divine truth. And because right now we are in a season where everyone is going to be trying to steal our crowns because we just got them, right? New levels, new fuckery, right? So at every turn, someone's going to be trying to steal your crown. But you are a divine and a sovereign and a sacred being. But they're depending on you not to know that, or not to own that, or not to walk with it, walk in that, and not to contest their fuckery. And here is where that Aries energy of the fire and the feistiness and the fight, that's also connected to Mars, it's time for that to rise in you for yourself. You see, we've spent a lot of time fighting against energies that were coming at us externally, and we had to do that. We had to come into hermit mode, and we had to learn about what was happening, but there's no more defense. Now it's time to be offensive, and that doesn't mean we're going out to cause a ruckus. No, the fight, the battle is against the false persona, your matrix identity, the false persona you carried and you lived in for all this time you've been here on this planet. The battle is against that energy, because it's that energy that all of their spells are trying to attach to. And when I say it's that energy, that is the wounded energy. All of the woundedness that's been inflicted upon you, all of the pain and all of the insecurity it therefore caused because of the pain and the trauma cycles. No, they're trying to latch onto anything that is still exposed or present there. This is why we're being called at this time to crucify that persona, that energy, once and for all. And I bring up the eclipse energy because what feels like happening is that we are moving into a window where that new moon in Aries energy is about to kick off a cycle of destroying the darkness, destroying the entities. But the thing about it is this, like, think about the sun. It's pelted the earth, right? For all intents and purposes, energetically, the sun has pelted the earth. And like when you go into a kitchen and you turn the lights on, especially for those of y'all, if you lived in New York at any point, and all of the cockroaches spread and run away from the light, it's kind of like that. So all of these energies and entities that kept the matrix system alive, that were hiding in our energy for as long as we were wounded and living in low vibrations, and stuck in, here goes a trusty vibrational scale, for as long as we were stuck or we entertain these energies, shame, guilt, apathy, grief, and fear, namely, for as long as we stay in that energy, we give those entities, the matrix ID entities, homes. That's why they had to keep us in that state. So I say all of that because now the lights have come on, Daddy's home with this Aries energy, right? And those entities are running for cover right now. They're trying to find a place. They're trying to find the darkness in every soul in which so they can hide again. This is what's happening right now. The lights are on, the entities have been exposed, and they're trying to find cover in everyone, including you. And this is why right now that Bible verse, it's really important. It goes, be wise as serpents and gentle as doves. Because, like I said, the battle right now, the main battlefield is not between you and those who are casting spells or trying to attach to you. Yes, that's not something that you want to completely ignore. Do the work you have to do there too, to protect yourself. But know that the main the final frontier in these energies is between yourself and the false persona at every turn they try to put on you through their false identities, through their wounding, through their pain, all the ways they try to get you to live outside of your divine truth, all the hats they try to have you put on to tune you out, to separate you from, to make it almost impossible for you to reconnect with your I am truth. So in other words, right now you get to decide who you are. This is the window where right now you get to align with the divine and decide who you are. You get to get that information back. You get to come into union with your higher self that wants to tell you who you are. And for some of you, you already know, and now is the season to marry that person, marry that energy, come into full union with it. So right now in this window between the new moon last week and the new moon that's coming up in Aries at the end of the month, the new moon last week was 0 degrees, the opening degree of Aries that holds the fullness of the entirety of that sign. The 29 degree mark again holds the fullness and the completion of that energy. It's again Alpha Omega energy. This month is a sublimation of the Aries energy in a way like, I don't know when last we would have experienced it, but the point is, it's to prepare us for when the nodes move into Aries and Libra in July, because Libra is an energy that often, we associate with the balancing of scales, but the Aries energy is a great balancer too. It just works in different ways. The Aries energy is more concerned with us taking the initiative to get self into balance. It's why the equinoxes occur at the opening of each of those seasons. They're both balancers of energy. Aries and Libra. So right now, it's time for us to come back into equilibrium with self, come back into a balanced state of who we are, right? On earth, as it's already been, proclaimed in the heavenlies. So the Matrix is a game that does its best to contract you to death energies at every turn. And the reason I say death energies is because everything you contract yourself to in the Matrix, and again, the contracting self to an energy is pretty much just opening your fields up to be commanded by something that isn't you. It doesn't even have to be a person. It can be a thing. This is why addictions are such a big part of the Matrix construct. And if anything, in this energy, you might realize a lot of your old addictions are kicking up, or you might see it in other people. Their way of handling being here in the Matrix when they weren't conscious of who they were, because that's what an addiction is. The addictions that were formed in the context of the Matrix were all coping mechanisms because our souls fought against the lie, but we weren't aware of that, So the majority of addiction is that. It's like trying to find a balance and not knowing how to and feeling helpless. And so because of that, a lot of this addiction energy, because there's so much density and there's so many of these entities running around and trying to get you to contract yourself once again to, I am an addict, I am depressed, I am everything but your divine truth. And this is not to take away from the real experience of going through depression or addiction, but it is to say that all of that is a part of the plan of the matrix. And if you've struggled with that, this is what it's trying to take you down into again. These energies right now. So the way my guides were showing it to me is that right now there are like 2 doors that we're being offered 2 options right now. We are being offered the opportunity to get off the wheel of karma and get on the wheel of dharma, or to take another ride around the wheel of karma. And the wheel of karma is what we sign up for when we are out of alignment with our divine truth. You see, the point of karma is always to bring you back into divine truth. Some people accumulate a lot of karma because they refuse to learn the lessons. They want to continually go against divine truth by hurting themselves and hurting others, and realizing that in doing so, and in hurting others and not waking up and realizing that you can't hurt another person or being or anything containing life without doing it to self too. So the whole point of karma is for awakening, is for ascension, is for enlightenment. Once you get to a level where you have realized these things and you are consciously living in accordance with divine law to the best of your ability, your lessons become more dharmic in nature. You don't have to learn by way of suffering because you no longer want to take that on for yourself. You see, the matrix is all about causing pain. It's about causing pain. This is why karma existed there. Because in order to learn our lesson of who we were, we had to be subjected to the suffering until we grew tired of the suffering and we realized we weren't created to suffer. It's not part of our divine truth to suffer, and rose up out of that and decided, oh no, I'm not doing that to myself anymore. And if I'm not doing that to myself anymore, I sure as fuck am not allowing other people and energies to do that to me either. I reject suffering. So the way my guides are showing it to me is there are 2 doors right now. Are we going to choose the door that leads to more suffering? Or are we going to choose the door that leads to learning by way of joy? And yeah, it sounds easy when you break it down into 2 doors. It sounds like, of course, I'm going to choose the door that leads to joy, right? That's a no-brainer. But the actual ability to align your energy and your frequency so that you can actually walk through that door is another matter altogether. Because in order to choose that door, you must reject everything that has been causing you suffering that you've chosen for yourself too, or that you continue to choose. So for example, worry. What is the point of worrying? If something occurs and you worry, are you going to change it by worrying? No, you're going to add to your own suffering. Now I can say that to you, but I do it too. When we're in the midst of going through a situation where worry and fear rises, it's easy to fall into forgetting who we are. And this is where we're being tested right now. When those things that come into your fields right now that want to bring you fear or paralyze you into states that are out of alignment with your divine truth, are you going to succumb? Am I going to succumb? Or am I going to tell that energy, bibbity bobbity, fuck off? Like seriously, are we going to allow that energy once again to entertain us? Are we going to entertain? Are we going to sit down and, give it tea and be like, how are you doing, anxiety? And when I say anxiety, I'm not talking about like medical anxiety. I'm talking about that worry and that fear that comes up over things that we don't have the ability to do anything about. And it loves to take us hostage, to drag us into fear and into guilt and into shame and into apathy, stuckness. It loves to lead us there. So I say all of that because at every turn right now, the energies that come into our fields are here to help us make a choice. And these energies are designed to take us out of our divine truth, but only if we let them. This is an ultimate refining process, and it has to happen because, remember, we are conduits here who are also helping Gaia to clear these energies so that we all can rise too. And it has to come out of us so that we can be reborn again into our divine truth. It's a thorough clearing that's occurring right now. In other words, you are not allowed to take with you, moving forward, anything that tries to tell you, crown you once again in an identity that isn't yours and isn't in alignment with your divine truth. It's no longer allowed. And as such right now, we're all being called to rise into battle and to notice when these energies are trying to come and take us down, take us into worry, take us into fear, take us into apathy, take us into all manner of energies that are counterintuitive to us being in divine order and knowing who we are divinely. And you have to realize that the attacks are so intense because it's all root energy. It's all the root energies of the systems. It's all the root energies that allowed those things to exist in your reality to begin with. They must come up to just be witnessed, but they're not here for us to take on and to contract with again. In other words, there's a big attack against sacral energies right now. There's an attack against people's money flow, especially if you are out here being a being who is doing work to help free people from these situations. There's attacks against that. There's attacks against creativity. There's attacks against third eye, intuition. Everything is under attack right now, with the purpose of you and I giving up our crown and saying, oh no, maybe I can't do this. Oh no, maybe I'm not who I thought I was. Oh no, maybe I'm not divine. Oh no, maybe I am just a fuck up, or I am who this person said I was, or I am who for so many years I took on as being because I didn't know any other way. Maybe I am those things. The fuck you are, you're not. And this is what is like that Aries, Mars energy, spiritual warrior fighting for self and the truth of who you are. This is what it's about right now. Because those energies that have been trying to keep you down will continue. They will continue. But they will not be able to access you anymore once you let the old version of you and all of its false identities, when you really let the fullness of that energy die, the root of those energies burn, they won't be able to touch you at that point, because the spells they're casting are against that person, that persona. And what's happening right now is at every turn, they're wanting us. I'm sorry if there's tracking issues with this video, but I won't be stopped and I won't be silent. So if it's going faster or slower, my apologies. What it is they're wanting you to do is to take that persona and put it back on as a garment and to walk back with your tail between your legs. Oh, maybe I'm not who I thought I was. Maybe I'm not this divine being. No, you are. You are. You absolutely fucking are. So those energies, our guides are allowing them to come into our fields. So we put to death any false notions that we took on about ourselves in the matrix, so that we put to death any false notions that we on about ourselves that also caused us to behave in certain ways that were out of alignment with our divine truth. You know, those things that you were ashamed about or you carried shame over because you knew it wasn't you and you could do better. That's absolutely right. But there's no need to be ashamed, because as I told my daughter earlier on, that wasn't even you. Those were all of those fucking entities that were working through you that, yes, you allowed into your fields, but that's not who you are. That's not who you are. So right now, these energies are wanting to know, do you know who you are? Because they can't attack your I am truth when you're walking and living in it. They can't. There's a lot of sacral attacks, like I said, coming. This is to increase your ability to reattach to old ways of thinking and being. It's to get you to reattach to addictions and old coping methods that are out of alignment with your divine truth. It's here to bring back to life those energies so that they can bring death. You can bring death yourself into your new life cycles. Right now is a time to be learning a new way of being. Because any behaviors that are in alignment with your false persona, or who you were in the matrix and all those identities you took on, any behaviors that align with those energies are openings for you to be exploited. I hope that makes sense. So in other words, right now we're being called to do things differently. It's time for many of us to come out of hermit mode. And that's scary, especially with all of these energies flying. But like I said, we're moving from defense to offense. But the offense is coming with the reprogramming of our own energies under our commands. So at every turn, the old captains of your ship are coming and trying to get back on. And you're telling them every time they come, oh no, there's new management here. These are the new rules. I am prolific. I am great. I am creative. I am beautiful. I am abundance. I am wealth. What's that you just tried to tell me? What? That I'm going to amount to nothing? I don't think so. I think you have the wrong ship, the wrong vessel. You may have been, manning the ship before with this energy, but like I said, it's new management. So bibbity boppity, fuck off. Question every thought, every feeling, every desire right now. Question every thought, every feeling, every desire right now. Because the truth is that this is how these energies come in to try and take you over. It doesn't matter how much spell work people are throwing you if they have nothing to attach to. The energies that spell work attach to are all of the things that are hidden in the dark that we just don't want to see. So I was having this conversation with my daughter earlier on. I will never, if somebody comes and accuses me of something, I may not say to them, oh, no. I may not have a conversation with them, but I will always have a conversation with self. And I will say, where is there truth in this? Is there truth in this? What do I need to know about this? In other words, don't run from your darkness right now. If somebody comes and says something to you about yourself that you don't like, don't throw it out so quickly. Ask your guides first. What is it that I need to learn from this? What is it I need to learn? It wouldn't have come into your reality if there wasn't something. If there wasn't something. So I say to my kids at every turn when there's an issue that comes up, or if there's a criticism that somebody has of me, I will never dismiss it outright. I will never dismiss it outright. I will always say, well, is there any part of me, any part of my reality that is actually in alignment with what it is they've said? If they've called me, selfish, are there areas where I am displaying this? Or is it them projecting? Like at every turn, I don't know if I'm doing a good job of trying to unravel this for you, but the point is at every turn, every energy coming into your fields, every way that you are responding to external energies right now, it must be checked. A very big energy that's been coming through in the downloads I haven't gotten through into yet has been about us reconnecting with our bodies and the beauty of them and how they work in order to reclaim our energy. And I'll get into that hopefully later this week. But a lot of attention has been on the lymphatic system. They keep on bringing up the lymphatic system. And me, I'm a science, like a biology, not science, but a biology geek. Like, I love this stuff I want to know about it all, right? And I went to school for herbal medicine, so I like to learn about these things. The lymphatic system, they had me going back into my anatomy and physiology books. The lymphatic system is part of your circulatory system. And the way you can look at it is it's kind of a security point in your body. It's kind of like TSA in your body. It likes to check out what is going on with your cell performance by way of scanning your intercellular and intracellular fluids and seeing how the cells are performing in your body. It's a security point, and then it will return that fluid back into circulation in your body, right? It's like an immunity checkpoint. This is what we are being called to do energetically too. There's a lot, energy is always circulating, and right now we're getting ready for energy to circulate in the correct way in accordance with who we are. Aries energy is also over the veins and the arteries. It's over the circulation of energy, how energy goes back, how it's returned, how it's cleared, how it's built. That's kind of the energy we're in right now. So as such, everything that's coming in and leaving your fields must go through these checkpoints within self. Is that thought in alignment with who I know I am divinely? And if it's not, why am I entertaining it? Why am I growing the energy of it? Is this feeling, if it's gotten into a feeling at this point, is this feeling in alignment with the truth of who I am divinely and what it is I've been sent here to experience? If not, am I learning the lesson the emotion is showing me and then releasing it and getting on with my life? Or am I clinging to it because I like my own suffering? Because we're all guilty of that too. And this is what I'm talking about. We have to be completely 100% radically honest with that truth also, with all truths about self. Some of us are addicted to suffering because the matrix made it that way. Now, when we own that, we can dismiss our contract with that. But until we own it, we're allowing it to own us. Well, for as long as we're denying that truth about ourselves, we're denying that there were parts of us that actually liked to be, not to be victimized, not at all, never that. I never ever will, tolerate or, say abuse in any way, shape, or form is right. Or even, that this is why divinely, this happened and everything. Yes, that is true, but not to take away from the gravity of what many of us went through. It was real. It is real, right? But the point is, and I'll put the spotlight on myself. Because I had this conversation with my daughter earlier on. There was a part of me in my teens who loved to contract myself to suffering. It was fashionable, right? In the 90s, it was Prozac Nation and all of that. It was fashionable to be sad. I wore that hat really well. I liked my suffering. And it got to a point where that became an addiction that I couldn't control anymore. This is what I'm talking about. And in that way, I allowed myself to be victimized by these energies. I contracted myself to a victim mindset that I didn't know how to get out of. Now, it doesn't make an excuse for anyone who then victimized me in that state, but I can't take responsibility for anyone else. I can only take responsibility for self and how I contributed to a cycle. And this is what we're being called to do right now, to be radically honest in how we've contributed to growing these identities within ourselves and even within the collective. Not to tear ourselves and one another down, but to release it. We cannot release what we're not seeing because it's still hiding and we're denying. Because remember, like I said to my daughter, there's no condemnation because it wasn't even you. There's no condemnation. It wasn't even you. Yes, you may have, unconsciously and even consciously at times signed up with that energy, but that energy is not divinely who you are. You're coming into the reality of who you are divinely. Release it. Release all of the entities of the matrix that tried to consistently tell you you were something lower, way lower than what you are. The battle now is based upon your full belief and reclamation of your divine truth. The battle right now is based upon your full belief and reclamation of your divine truth. That means there is no more time to entertain energies that are telling you anything but. And this ultimately is what annihilates the matrix and its hold on you. This is what ends the game. Is when you find the door to Dharma and you walk out of it because you sacrifice. It's a sacrifice system, remember? In order to free yourself of the matrix, you must sacrifice your matrix identity, your false persona. At every level, that's what this has been about, sacrificing it. But right now, we are at like the root energies that want to come up, and because they've been so deeply rooted in us, they are easy to miss, and they are also easy to entertain and even coddle and even like hold on to, because they're so deeply rooted in the realities that we've lived. But they're not part of you. They're not your truth. So they must go. They must go, and you must be the one to put them out. You must be the one, I must be the one to put them out. When something happens that wants to trigger me into lack programming again, I must say, oh no, 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 bibbity bobbity, fuck off, I am wealth. I am abundance. Who the fuck is you? I don't know you, man. You must put to death the matrix. You must put to death the matrix persona and all the energies and narratives that kept that persona alive. You must put to death your matrix persona and all the energies and narratives that kept that persona alive. And you've been given a lot of them, and you ran away with them. We all did. We all did. Whatever it was that was programmed into you as a child, you took and you ran away with, for better or for worse. Everything that is not in alignment with your divine truth, your divine purpose, and therefore your divine mission must be sacrificed. It must be sacrificed. And this, like it sounds like really like hardcore. It is hardcore. But let me tell you, the energy that supports this is actually very, very high levels of self-love and self-compassion. That's what supports this. High levels of self-love and self-compassion, where you are not judging yourself and picking yourself apart, but you're simply observing and witnessing and releasing and being like, oh no, bibbity bobbity, fuck off, you ain't a part of me. I know I invited you to the party before, but that was before I knew who you were and what you were doing. And you're not welcome anymore in this party. You're not welcome on this ship. Bibbity, bobbity, fuck off. That's my mantra right now. My guides gave it to me today. We were in a playful mood. Bibbity, bobbity, get the fuck away from me. I think that's actually a meme also, isn't it? Bibbidi bobbidi. That's where it came from also. But they kept on saying it to me. Now I remember it is a meme, I think, somewhere with, the Cinderella. But anyway, that's what I was channeling earlier on today. Because that's the energy they want us to be in. If I find the meme, maybe I'll post it. But yeah, bibbidi bobbidi, fuck off. Bibbidi bobbidi, get the fuck away from me. You're no longer invited to this party. So those are the downloads. Dream fuckery is happening. I pulled some cards out before we began, just to see. I'm not going to get into them too much. I just wanted to see for myself what the energy was. And again, dream fuckery, psychic attacks, of course. I'm trying to drag you back down into this narrative of being loveless, dependent, addicted, working with suicide energies and entities to take you to the brink. Those of you who are struggling in that way, I send you so much love. I've been there. And not that long ago either. I'm not going to sit here and be like, that was 10 years ago. A year ago, I was being sent suicide entities. And I had to learn how to no longer entertain them because they were never me. Me, divinely? Doesn't want, who would destroy all of this? Okay? That's how you need to be. That's how we all need to be. But in all seriousness, those of you who are battling with those energies, there is no shame in complete self-love, self-compassion, and support for self to reach out for help. I did. And I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did. Don't ever think you have to go through these things alone. There are so many also organizations that you can call and just talk. That's what I did. That's what I did too. Because you were not meant to carry this alone. It must be released. But sometimes the release is through the speaking. So please, if you need help of any kind, medical, psychological, legal, in any of this stuff, but mainly medical and psychological right now is what I'm picking up on. You do that. This is about looking after yourself in the best way you can right now. Okay? Don't sit down in your darkness if you have the power to just bring in a crack of light, even if it's just by speaking or having someone else help you come back into alignment with truth, because we need that too. We need that too. We need support. It's 10th house. A lot of it is about your ability now to reach the collective and to get your message out, to circulate that energy. Because once that energy is circulated, everyone going to be finding the wheel of the door of Dharma and taking a sharp right. Again, money blocks, that sacral chakra attacks. Eating disorders was coming up big time. If you struggled with food or image when it comes to how you eat, that oftentimes is very much addiction in general is connected to the sacral chakra, but especially your relationship with food. And now is the time, like I said last week in the Coming Back to Earth and in the downloads that I mentioned earlier, it's about coming back into a healthy relationship with our bodies. So realize, recognize, understand, overstand that those attempts are going to be under attack too. So if you're having issues with food, again, my heart goes out to you. I've had every eating disorder under the sun, so I get it. But please know also, and this is not, again, don't seek extra help, please do. But please know also that these are the energies that they're playing on right now. Wanting to keep you dependent or under the illusion of dependence so that they can attach to you. Because here's the thing also, another thing that was coming through, a lot of doppelganger energy, a lot of those who have been cloaking themselves in your energy, poking you, trying to get back in. That was coming out last week too, poking you, trying to get back in. And the only way they can get back in is if you surrender to your matrix identity. Because if you surrender to your matrix identity, then you get back into the energy that allows them to be in their matrix identity, which was forged off of stealing your energy. So once you walk away from your matrix identity and you, I know that's annoying, identity, but I want to be very real about like what it is, and you come into alignment with your I am truth, that again is what strips them of their ability to connect and to attach. Because in order for them to cloak in your energy, your matrix identity had to be alive. You kill that, I was gonna cuss. You kill that bitch, there ain't nothing to plug into or to attach to in order to get to your divine energy. There's nothing. And it's game over for them too. Okay, I forgot last week in the last reading to get an Abundance Angels card. I'm sorry for that. I'm going to get you one now though. I'm not going to pull any more cards for this because we're already an hour in and I'm not sure if the tracking is okay. So I'm going to finish up now and get you an Abundance Angels card because this is really the energy they are attacking is your abundance. Your ability to reconnect with your abundant frequency. And because abundance, you reconnecting with the fact that I am abundance, you are abundance, means that they no longer can have you seeking things outside of self and therefore sacrificing your truth in order to take on the lie. If you realize you are abundant and you don't you therefore don't need any of their programs and all of the ways they try to, fuck you out of your truth. Once you tune into the abundance, they can't have you, they can't use you anymore, because they need you in poverty mindsets. They need you connecting to fear and all of that in order to therefore get from you what it is they want. They cannot, if you are truly in your I am abundance state, they cannot take things from you. And so for many of us, the reason why we are being attacked in that area is for us to really activate that truth in self. But it's not going to happen without a battle. What, you think that you've been supplying these assholes for, God knows how long and been making them rich, and they just going to let go of you that easily? You think that's how it works? You not remember, slavery? Did master let his slaves go that easily just because emancipation came? I don't think so. Wasn't there a whole war because of that? Anyway. All of this stuff that has occurred historically has always just shown us energetically what's happening on a I won't say global, but as a baseline energy for Earth. Quiet retreat. It's time to disconnect from the outer world so you can discern and process your true thoughts and feelings from your inner world. We just said that. All of this is about taking inventory, right? Create this quiet time for yourself and you'll have more clarity about what to do next. So what I'm getting here is more than just like retreating into self, being in hermit mode. We are supposed to be able to find states of hermitage within self. That means even when we are out and about, we should be able to retreat into self for these quiet moments of reflection and inventory. This is what we're being cultivated into doing, because this is how we're able to go back into the world again, by maintaining our own peace that we've obtained through hermit mode. It's our ability to connect with that energy at every turn, if that makes sense. We have unlimited ideas. Your mind is one with God's infinite mind. Yeah, your I am truth is connected to God's infinite mind, right? Therefore, you have complete access to unlimited ideas. This again is the energy of abundance. You are not limited. Everything wants you to feel limited and to put you back into that limited state of being, thinking, feeling, living. Therefore, you have complete access to unlimited ideas, guaranteed to bring blessings. All you need to do is to take divinely guided action to allow these ideas to come to fruition. So again, the attacks are against your ability to create. It's connected to your soul, to your sacral energies. It doesn't want you connecting rather to this energy of abundance and being unlimited and being infinite and being multidimensional. It wants you once again, it's this collective spell energy that's being thrown. It wants you once again thinking, oh no, that's not true. That can't be true because this is what I'm seeing or this is what I'm feeling. But here's the thing, it's time to stop responding to what it is you're seeing and then allowing that to make you think or feel certain things. And it's time for you to start commanding the reality that you see outside of yourself by tuning yourself into what it is you want to think and feel and therefore experience. That's where the game changes. That's why at every turn we're being asked. Energy incoming, whether it's mental, emotional, doesn't matter, spiritual. Where is it coming from? Is it in divine alignment with my I am truth? If not, you're not allowed here. I'm not making contracts with those energies. Bibbity, bobbity, fuck off. And then energies going outside, my thoughts, my feelings, your thoughts, your feelings. Are they in alignment with your divine truth? And where what is supposed to be opening up for you now divinely in accordance with who you actually are. If not, time to evaluate why those energies are in you still. Time to get real honest with self and find out why they're there. And then dismiss them and tell them, bibbity, bobbity, get the fuck away from me. In love. In love. You know? And when I say in love, that's not tolerance for the death energies that they want to bring, but it's intolerance for the lesson that has been learned, the lesson that has been gained, the exposure even. So I'm going to love you and leave you. For those of you guys who want to donate to the channel or want to donate a debt to the channel, that information, my PayPal information and the link to my wish list is below. For those of you who would like to work one-to-one with me, my website information is below. I only ask that before you email me that you take a look at my services and what I offer, and then you can either come through my contact me page or you can email me dailyalchemy with a K @gmail.com, and we can get the conversation going in terms of what it is that you are seeking my services with. What else? I don't do a checkout function on the site. Outside of the Daily Alchemy membership portal, you can sign up for that immediately, as well as I just posted today, for those of you who still might want the sacral chakra light activation or the decree, that is now available on the website for you to go and purchase. But what I need you to do then, and the instructions are there, is to simply put in the payment notes your email so I know where I'm emailing the files to. And it's the same with the Daily Alchemy membership. If you pay for membership, then please will you either put in the payment section your Instagram handle and then follow me at Daily Alchemy Portal, or send me a separate email so I can let you in. But I think that's it. Is that all? I think so for now. I'm going to love you and leave you. Remember, there's no energy that's being thrown at you right now that has greater command over your reality than what you allow it to have. And I know that's a really difficult thing for a lot of us to grasp. It is for me a lot of the time too. But this is where we're being trained. This is where we're being refined. This is where we're being taught a new way of viewing ourselves, the truth of who we are. So I wish you guys love, joy, peace, beauty, every wondrous thing under the sun. Until next time, be well.